Hank's mother is such an intelligent woman filled with so much wisdom. Not minding the son's feelings, she knows the core values of marriage, encouraging Clara to fight for her marriage, fight for what belongs to you. While at it, if you know that this marriage will actually weigh you down and cause you problems, then divorce your husband legally. Do it the right way, but make sure you fight for your marriage. This is to show how much this woman love and respect what Clara and the son had. Kudos to Clara's daughter, she acts so maturely. I mean, going to Hank's office to find out if Hans has something to do with your mom. Come on, this girl is too small for this. But I can see a girl that is so desperate in making sure that the family is united together. I'm also happy that Hanks does not have any interior motive. He's doing everything that he's doing because he loves Clara genuinely and she wants Clara happiness. Jonathan is so shameless. I mean, you want to take over the business that another man gave your wife money. The same business that you have been nagging your wife about to stop the business. You want her to hand over the business to you and stay away from Hans. Look at how selfish Jonathan is. At this point, I think Clara already knows that Jonathan does not want this marriage again. It will not be too far for us to say that Clara should divorce Jonathan so that at least his mind will calm down, because it's obvious he does not care about this marriage anymore and he's not willing to change to accommodate the peace that you are trying to bring to this home. Just like what Debbie said to Clara, maybe when Jonathan starts paying the bills in the house again, he will realize that the wife Clara is actually trying. Because at this point, Jonathan seems to be very comfortable. Sometimes Debbie says nice things, even though she does not have good plans for Clara. But let's take it one after the other. After what happened on the last episode, Clara went to her restaurant, and while she was serving her customers, Hank's mother came in and she was surprised to see Hank's mother. This woman is such a peaceful woman. She is very, very good and she's filled with a lot of wisdom. She sat Clara down and started telling Clara, listen, I know that you and my son had a beautiful, relationship back then. In fact, the day you came to my house to lash out on my son because he insulted your husband, I was very happy that you actually stood for your husband. That is what a wife should do. Marriage is not, something that you can go in and come out. It is an everlasting thing, something you have to fight to make sure that it works. So I was very happy. But listen, even if something happens and you want to leave your husband, do it the right way. Go through the divorce. But while at it, make sure you fight for your husband, fight for your marriage. Fight for your marriage, Clara. And Clara was surprised that this woman came all the way to her restaurant to give her this kind of advice. I'm probably sure that she wasn't expecting her to actually come, to speak to her in such a calming tone after what she did to the son in front of her. But she's lucky that this woman loves her so much and she wants nothing but the best. Now I know that Clara will do everything to make sure that her marriage works. Clara would have been a very lucky woman to get married to this family because both Hanks and the mother are very peaceful people. But then the worst happened when Clara got home and told Jonathan, please come sit down, let's talk. We need to have a conversation to know where this marriage is going. But Jonathan, as usual, with his nonchalant attitude, sat down and asked Clara, what do you want? And Clara started telling Jonathan what suddenly happened. We used to be a very, sweet couple that people envy. What suddenly happened? We need to talk about this because I don't know where this marriage is headed anymore. And Jonathan again started, so what do you want? What do you want from me? What do you want me to do? Clara said, I need you to tell me what we need to do to make this marriage work because I really want this marriage to work. And the shameless Jonathan said, if you want this marriage to work, there are conditions that you must meet for this marriage to work again. And then he went ahead to say, Clara, you need to hand over that restaurant business completely to me. I will be in charge of it. And I don't want you to talk to Hanks anymore. Delete his number, block him everywhere, and stay at home doing nothing while I handle everything. Can you imagine how shameless Jonathan is? And Clara was like, are you serious? Like, you want me to hand over this same business that you don't want me to do? Jonathan is such a shameless human being. Remember that this is the same business that Jonathan has been dragging Clara about because Hans gave her the money to start up this business. Now he does not have issue with it. He wants to go and do the business by himself, doing the cooking and everything. That is to tell you that this Jonathan is not willing to change. But then Clara gave it to him immediately and told him, I am very much ashamed of you. How can you say this? That I should give up my business. I should let you handle my business. I cannot do that anymore. In fact, I will not let you control me again. My eyes are open now. Because remember that Jonathan has been controlling Clara. That is what it seems. That all the while that Jonathan has been saying, oh, I want my wife to stay at home. I don't want her to work or do anything. It is for him to be able to control Clara. Clara immediately ran to Debbie. Clara does not know that the same person that you run to complain to every single time does not have good plans for you. But then when Clara got there and explained to Debbie that the husband is really being a thorn on her flesh, Debbie said to him, I told you from the beginning, the moment you start taking responsibility and paying bills at home is when your husband, start misbehaving. That what I want you to do is to stop paying the bills. Let your husband go out there and work for the money so that he will understand that at least he needs to cut you some slack because it is not easy to take care of the bills. I mean, maybe when he start doing it, he will now realize that you are really trying. And Clara said, are you saying that I should not support my husband when he needs me? But basically, from the advice that Debbie is giving, I think Clara should try it because Jonathan is feeling so comfortable. After all, when he goes out and come back, he will find food at home to eat. He does not have to pay any bills because the wife is doing everything. And maybe that is why he's having, all this courage to do all the nonsense he's doing at home. And Clara said, I don't even know what to do. In fact, Debbie also advised Clara to go and apologize to Hans because Clara went to Hans' house to slap him without finding out if the lies that the husband told is actually true. And she has not apologized ever since. So it is a good one for her to actually go and apologize to Hans so that they can both be in peace. You cannot be fighting your destiny helpers, which is true. But then Clara's daughter acted, and did the unthinkable. She went to Hank's office and Hans was, surprised to see Clara's daughter. What are you doing in my office? Why are you here? And she said, I want to first of all apologize for everything that my dad and my mom did at this office. You can imagine a little girl with so much knowledge. Kudos to this girl. And she went ahead to ask Hans, I know a lot has been going on in my family. And, it seems that you are the reason why all this is happening. So I'm here to ask you, are you having anything with my mom? Is there anything going on between you and my mom? You can imagine. And Hanks was very surprised that this little girl came all the way to find out this information. He was like, how old are you? And when she said she's 16, he said to her, there are some things that you might not understand because you are still very young. You are still a child. And Hans took his time to explain to Clara's daughter that, listen, I don't have anything doing with your mom. Your mom is my first love, yes, but I am not here to destroy her marriage. In fact, I will not be the reason why your mother's marriage will be destroyed or will end up in divorce. That if anything happens to your mother's marriage, I will solely not be responsible for it. Anytime your mom runs to me, I will always be here to help her because she was my first love and I love her. But that doesn't mean that I am here to spoil her marriage. I want her to be happy. Her happiness is paramount to me. Okay? That is what is going on. There is nothing going on between your mom and I. I am only trying to support your mother. Your mom gave everything for me. She sold her only land to send me abroad. And now I am here. I want to support your mother in the little way that I can, just to make sure that she is happy. Okay? So I don't intend to destroy your mother's marriage or spoil the family that you so long for. And she was like, so you really love my mother up to this point that you are willing to do all this for my mom? And he went ahead to say, yes. I am very sure that Clara's daughter will not longer believe the father manipulation anymore after listening to Hans explaining all this to her. she will be very surprised that the father is really doing this. But then she went ahead to say, but you know, my dad is not seeing it the way you are explaining it. And Hans went ahead to tell her, every man out there will act the same way your father is acting. I understand. But I just cannot help but, help your mom. I cannot help it. I want to help your mother make sure that she is okay. And Clara said, I hope that you're making a promise to me that you won't do anything with my mom. Because she also promised that even in a vulnerable moment of your mother, I am not going to take advantage of her. I will respect her because that is what I want to do to make sure that she is happy. And then he made a pinky promise to this little girl. I'm very sure that Hans will do everything within his power to make sure he keeps to this promise. But we'll find out about this on the next episode. Please like the video if you have not liked the video. Subscribe to the channel. I'll bring the next one as soon as you drop. But for now, take care.